Morning, everyone. I'd ask that anyone wearing a hat, please remove it. And please be silent as we post the colors by the Portland Fire Honor Guard and the bagpipe from the Portland Firefighters Pipes and Drums Band.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Ready, forward, march.
Thank you all for joining us this morning to honor the more than 3,000 fallen heroes and their families forever impacted on this day 22 years ago on September 11th, 2001. We will never forget. My name is Isaac McClennan. I'm the president for the Portland Firefighters Association, IAFF Local 43. Firefighters across our great state and nation are proudly honoring those impacted on this fateful day. Those that were lost, their families, and those fighting health issues from helping others that dreadful day, and in the days to follow. We firmly believe it is important that we all come together as a community and as a nation to remember and give our deepest respect to everyone we lost in those attacks. We must also remember and grieve the brave souls lost since that dreadful day 22 years ago on U.S. soil. We want to acknowledge the speakers today Fire Chief Ryan Gillespie, and Fire Commissioner Renee Gonzalez. Also here today are Portland firefighters who flew to New York 22 years ago to help fellow firefighters directly impacted by the attacks. Portland firefighters Neil Martin, Wesley Laux, Dwight Englert, and Ed Hall took personal time 22 years ago to immediately fly to New York to help brother firefighters stationed near the Twin Towers. With their friend, Billy Quick, they searched for others still missing at Ground Zero. The bond between them was not torn apart by the terrorist attacks. Rather, it grew stronger. Today, the 9/11 Memorial in New York City allows us to reflect on those firefighters and first responders who gave the ultimate sacrifice 22 years ago, but also goes into great depth to show how those attacks forever changed those living in New York, those aboard the aircrafts, working at the Pentagon, and the list goes on. I was able to visit the 9/11 Memorial last month, and I was not prepared to relive that awful, dreadful day and read and hear so many of the stories that are now memorialized for everyone to see. I want to give a special thanks to firefighters, paramedics, and law enforcement on duty across the state of Oregon, in the city of Portland, and our great country, as we all answer the call whenever there's an emergency. Now it's my honor to introduce Portland Fire Chief Ryan Gillespie.
Thank you, Isaac. Good morning. Today we gather as a community and as a fire department to remember and honor the tragic events of September 11th, 2001. As the Fire Chief of Portland, I stand before you with a heavy heart, but also with a deep sense of pride in the bravery and resilience displayed by the first responders on that fateful day. I want to thank our Fire Commissioner, Renee Gonzalez, for his presence today, and to Portland Firefighters Association Local 43, thank you for continuing this memorial ceremony over the years. 22 years ago, the world witnessed an unimaginable act of terror that forever changed the course of our history. On that September morning, thousands of innocent lives were lost, and the world as we knew it was forever changed. In the midst of this darkness, the heroism of the firefighters, police officers, paramedics, and other first responders shone brightly. They rushed into the World Trade Center towers, risking their own lives to save others. Their selflessness and unwavering commitment to duty in the face of such immense danger remind us of the incredible sacrifices made that day. As the fire chief for Portland Fire and Rescue, I have the privilege of leading a brave team of men and women who have dedicated their lives to protecting and serving our community. As we remember and honor the New York City firefighters, I would like to recognize those who came from all corners of our nation to assist, including PF&R's own. They went above and beyond the call of duty, facing this disaster with courage, honor, and unyielding determination. Today we remember the fallen, the brave firefighters who made the ultimate sacrifice. We also remember the survivors and their families whose lives were forever changed by the events of 9/11, including those who continue to suffer the long-term effects of Ground Zero-related illnesses. We stand by them, offering our support and unwavering gratitude. Let us also remember the lessons of 9/11. Let us remember the importance of unity in times of crisis and the strength of the human spirit. In their memory, we must continue to honor their legacy by protecting our communities and ensuring that the spirit of 9/11 lives on in the acts of kindness, compassion, and service that we offer to one another. Thank you, and may we never forget. I'd now like to introduce our Fire Commissioner, Renee Gonzalez.
Today we gather not only as residents of Portland, but as a collective nation that will forever remember the tragic events of September 11th, 2001. On this, the 22nd anniversary of that fateful day when our free country was savagely attacked, the world would later see our country's commitment to serving justice. But today, we honor those that sought to save, to protect, and with heavy hearts, we reflect on the immense loss, the unextinguishable spirit of the first responders who ran towards danger, and the resilient communities that rose from the ashes. The 9/11 attacks were a day that shook our world to its core, and it is during such moments of darkness that true heroes emerge. Firefighters from across the nation, including 1,000 firefighters, EMTs, and paramedics of the Fire Department of New York, selflessly rushed to the danger, to the flames, risking their lives to save others. They showed courage, compassion, and duty in the face of terror. 343 firefighters and 1 fire patrolman lost their lives when the towers collapsed. Nearly that many have lost their lives since to injuries sustained that day and cancer. It is important today that we not only honor the fallen, but also celebrate the living. In this city, we are fortunate to have a group of remarkable first responders who live these virtues every day. Portland Fire embodies the spirit of service and bravery, reminding us that heroes walk among us. Each morning, they wake up not knowing what challenges they will face, but they are there, always ready, every day. Today, as we pay our respects with moments of silence at Portland Fire Stations citywide, we stand together, not only in remembrance of those lost on 9/11, but also in gratitude for the heroes who stand before us, ready to serve our community every day. Thank you, and may we always remember. I will finish with a small poem by Lucien Watkins. Do you, who now so nobly do a noble deed, who now instill the virtues true to virtuous need, whose mission is so truly good, so full of kindly brotherhood, who lives the life you surely should, a trusty lead, who early saw that skillful head and skillful hands should surely be in unions wed, gains life's quicksands. For people whose unhappy state was surely in the hands of fate, would make a combination great as iron hands. Long may your daring presence live and work and still. Long may your kingly reasons give a forceful will. Long may your glowing, useful days shine forth their bright, illumining rays, and to gloomy lives always a happy thrill. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Gillespie and Fire Commissioner Gonzalez. As many of you guys know, if you remember that fateful day, it was a beautiful blue sky day in New York City. Not a cloud in the sky, unlike here, but a beautiful day nonetheless. And out of that beautiful morning, no one would know that was about to happen. I'm going to take you through a few moments. The events on September 11th, 2001 will forever be etched in the minds of those who were there and those who remember watching the live broadcasts of the horrific attacks. I was on duty that day and watching from the fire station, and in an instant, fellow Americans and firefighters lost their lives. That day will forever remain raw and powerful in so many of our hearts. 22 years ago today, the terrorist attacks began during the morning hours East Coast time. At 8:46 a.m., hijackers deliberately crashed American Airlines Flight 11 into floors 93 through 99 of the North Tower. At 9:03 a.m., hijackers deliberately crashed United Airlines Flight 175 into floors 77 through 85 of the South Tower. At 9:37 a.m., hijackers deliberately crashed American Airlines Flight 77 into the Pentagon near Washington, D.C. And then at 9:59 a.m., the South Tower collapsed. At 10:03 a.m., after learning of other attacks, passengers above United Airlines Flight 93 launched a counterattack on hijackers aboard their plane to try to seize control of the aircraft. In response, the hijackers crashed the plane into an empty field near Shanksville, Pennsylvania. And then at 10:28 a.m., the North Tower collapsed, leaving the 16-acre World Trade Center site in ruins and collateral damage affecting all adjacent properties and streets. The rescue efforts commenced immediately. Now, please join me in sharing a moment of silence. Today, we thank our firefighters, our brothers and sisters and volunteers who risk their lives to help others. They are the true image and character of this great country. We thank each and every responder who came together that day and who today continues to help others in need. Sadly, today we know at least 2,000 first responders and individuals who have died of 9/11 related injuries, and many who are still suffering, like our good friend Billy Quick. Heart diseases, cancer, and respiratory diseases are still impacting firefighters who responded to those attacks. Portland firefighters Neil Martin, Wesley Slaux, and Dwight Engler and Ned Hall took their time to go out to New York, as I mentioned, to help their friend Billy Quick. Oops, pardon me. 22 years after the attacks that changed our world forever, the 9/11 Memorial Museum in New York stands as a powerful reminder that in the face of adversity, an unfathomable loss of life, our capacity for hope and potential for resilience will see us through. The Never Forget Fund supports the 9/11 Memorial and Museum efforts to ensure future generations never forget the lessons of 9/11. Portland Firefighters Association Local 43 made a promise to never forget, and we plan to keep that promise a forever promise. Thank you all for attending. And now I'd like to invite anybody who'd like to see the fireboat do a presentation from the park across the way. They'll be pulling up right over here. There's a crosswalk right there and back over here. Thank you all for coming.